Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to JAHAN-E, your own channel. And today is Tuesday. You all must be eagerly waiting for the author to meet. Yes, as promised, we are here with an author of the bestseller book, Father of Your Team. Are you really excited to meet the author? Oh, I'm not kidding. I'm not joking. He is with me. And I'm going to present him before you all. But little wait. Just promise me that after meeting the author, you are going to read the book. You are going to buy the book from Amazon and you are going to have a look and read Father of Your Team. Promised? Yes. So now I am going to call Dr. Venkat Kumarasen. Dr. Venkat Kumarasen, you are welcome to JAHAN-E. Hello, how are you?
Doing wonderful, Dr. Haleema, enjoying the best of the phases of life, even amidst lockdown, spending more time with the family, connecting with the teams virtually, doing something more productive with the time that is available. And I would associate this event to be something of that sort. Thank you for providing this platform to engage with the global audience.
Wow, that's really wonderful to know that you are enjoying during pandemic. So, Mr. Venkat, this cheerfulness, this positivity, this smile on the face, this confidence, the people say that it comes from the heredity, it comes from the ancestors, it comes from the family. So first of all, you let me know about your family, about your childhood, about your education, and about your parental influence on your character.
Sure. I have been a mischievous child right from my nursery days. Almost in every progress report, there will be something written, talkative, disturbing others. So I also inherited the sense of humor from my dad. I have that gene, so I didn't do great things about it. Similarly, public speaking is something which my mother is very good at. She still does some YouTube programs, primarily on the spiritual front. So I'm a combination, a best case combination of these two. And my childhood influence was, more from the two of the schools that I studied. Since you talked about cheerfulness, the motto of Chinmaya Vidyalaya is keep smiling. So that is the first school that I studied. And there was yet another school which was known for its discipline, but also known for encouraging children in almost every skill possible. We had a great visionary correspondent, Anantu Bhatt, who used to deliver lectures in assembly every day on any topic in the world. So when I was in my +1, the only two competitions that I did not participate was Rangoli and traditional dance. So they used to encourage students to participate in as many events as possible. It was a very visionary school. We used to get Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This book was made as one of the syllabus books during our 6th standard. So that was the kind of vision of our school. And I'm still in touch with my English teachers. And this book, Father of Your Team, when I wrote the first chapter, it was reviewed by both my English teachers, Mrs. Milliamon and Mrs. Meena Suresh. And I've written their names in the acknowledgements as well. So the childhood influence, I think the basic nature hasn't changed, whether it's energy or being little mischievous. Now it can be called humorous. Otherwise, it's still, I still allow the child to exist in me.
Yeah, that is a perfect phrase for yourself, that you still allow the child to be inside you. And that's very important. You know, children, how they accept the challenges happily with the cheerfulness, and they hardly bothers about the things going wrong. And that should be the attitude towards life. So, Mr. Venkat, you know, there are thousands of motivational books available. You know, if you go to any bookshop, you will find on the top shelf these type of books. Then what's the inspiration behind Father of Your Team? What exactly was the motive behind this?
Okay, before I come to the inspiration, I'll come to the point of your thousands of self-help books. Provision stores in your neighborhood, Dr. Haleema, you will find enough number of provision stores, right? But still, 2 years later, you will find, or a few months later, you will find some more provision stores coming up here and there. The reason is It is not a niche segment. It is necessary for anybody's survival. Similarly, I would see leadership as something which is necessary for survival for any individual and not just a niche segment. So that is the reason why I believe that thousands of self-help books are still being published in the market. And one, I would like to say what distinguishes Father of Your Team before I come to the inspiration. One is while many of these self-help books help the readers in getting some doses of motivation, many readers do not find the self-help book per se to be adequate to solving their day-to-day problems at workplace. So many of the significant challenges that leaders face, like keeping the team's aspirations and interests up, uncertain business prospects with many external changes and acquisitions that happen within organizations, handling the staff who are vulnerable to internal politics, and some uncomfortable working chemistry between teams, sustaining motivation despite organizations' constraints, work-life balance, or handling unfairness, and many more. So, Father of Your Team provides solutions for all these. There is a saying by Paul Morrison: if there is a book that you want to read and it has not been written yet, then you should be the person to write it. So that come to my mind as an inspiration for this book. The reason is Robin Sharma, in his book The Mega Living, he says the deeper your relationships, the more effective your leadership, because before someone will lend you the hand, you should touch their hearts. So that is what he said. But fortunately, you don't come across many business self-help books that focus on the deep relationship and connect. So that gives the first mover advantage to Father of Your Team. So because many other books are written on self-help, but these are written primarily by public speakers and consultants to CEOs or the CEOs. But this is a book which is written by someone who is managing many challenges of the current day teams across different levels. And that way, I find Father of Your Team to be a unique one. And number four, paternalistic leadership is one of the leadership styles which has the highest employee engagement. As you know, Dr. Haleema, in one of the recent surveys, 71% of the execs said that the employee engagement is very critical to their organization, and 85% of the employees are not engaged in work. And companies with highly engaged workforce are 21% more profitable. So that way, Father of Your Team is the world's first book on paternalistic leadership, for which is the top style for getting the highest employee engagement. So for me, the inspiration to write this book was one of my team members, Arun Kumar, and I'm inspired from parts of the incidents that I had with some of my best father managers, like Ekanathan Kuti, Vinay Chandra Menon, Jim Townsend. So these people had a very high influence on my life. So I consider them to be ideal benchmarks and my inspiration behind the characterization of Freddie in Father of Your Team.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And it's really nice to know about the book and about the content of the book. And at times, as you have already accepted that you were mischievous in the childhood, and that mischief has become now the humorous aspect of your life. So is this aspect of your life is seen in your book at sometimes, or that is a very plain book?
Don't we have light-hearted conversations in our office? Don't we find leaders in our work environment with humor having a higher acceptance quotient or a higher desirability quotient? We do, right? Even iconic Indian leaders today, like Anand Mahendra, have got a huge fan following in the industry because of their sense of humor as well. So this book has got humor. The humor may not come as silly jokes in office, but it comes as creative expressions that will make you say a wow. Some word plays, which are used in punchlines and powerful quotes in the book, and some analogies. And there are a couple of mini stories which come through the storyline of the book. One related to how employees uncomfortably adapt to an environment. So that comes through a funny story. And another one on how leaders should solve a problem before it occurs. So that comes through a story called Basket Guru. These stories are thoroughly relished and enjoyed by the readers. Actually, I had more humor in the book, but the copy editor said that if you have so much of humor, then the book may not be taken seriously. So he had to trim it, and I valued his expert judgment. So yes, you will find traces of humor in Father of Your Teen, and you will love it, and you will find it to be powerful to communicate points.
Thank you very much. Actually, you are arousing the curiosity among the viewers and among the audience to read this book. Of course, you have used many beautiful quotes, and many motivational quotes in your book. So, how come your love for the motivation for the quotes have brought you to use them in the book? So you were like you were fond of beautiful quotes or motivational quotes since your childhood, or maybe just for the sake of making your book more powerful, you have used them?
Okay. I'm inspired by many leaders, and I did search for some fresh quotes which will put these leaders in a newer perspective. For example, Peter Drucker as a management group, but there is a quote which shows the philosophical and a subtle humorous style of Peter Drucker, which is used in the first chapter. The only thing that we know about the future is that we do not know. So that's the kind of the quote that comes. So this book, I wanted to be unique in every manner. Even if he is a familiar leader, I wanted to source a quote which will relate to the theme of each of the chapters. And when you get exposed more and more to inspiring quotes, then you also get the art and science of writing such quotes. You will find some of the inspiring quotes in this book as well. There is a quote which Martha says, "It is okay if lions don't participate in the rat race." And one of my favorite quotes, which I had authored in Father of Your Teen, is, "Leadership is not racing ahead of others." And then I use the RAC in racing to just invert it to say, leadership is not racing ahead of others. Leadership is getting ahead of others. So I find the quotes from others and also some of the native quotes to be kind of equally interesting. And it all came from the idea of offering something special to the readers.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. In today's world, the people, they have lost the interest in reading the books. That is a fact. And especially among the children, it's very difficult to make them read something. And adults, when they go into the job market, then they totally forget that there is something called books. And they are into their own jobs, businesses, and earning money, and then having their regular lifestyle. In this situation, have you ever thought that authoring a book, publishing a book is going to bring any fruit for you, or it's just going to be the another book on the shelf?
Okay. One, there is a huge lot of people who are still book lovers, book reviewers, book buyers. So that demand is still there. It has not become extinct. And so that way I see that there is a huge market for the self-help books. So, and number two, can you repeat that question again? I think I lost part of that question.
Actually, what I wanted to say is that this hard copy of book, paper book,
Yes.
people, they can have the light reading. Yes, online they can have they can go through and they can do the net surfing and all. But this paper book, nowadays it's like out of trend. The people, they don't read. So what was the reason behind that you have gone for that option?
Well, Dr. Haleema, if your child is not eating nutritious food, then you will not leave it as such, right? You will still try to make the nutritious food some more tasty. So in that way, business books can be considered to be a little dry. So I have made it special by by spicing it with humor, by adding real office scenarios. Like you will be able to perfectly relate with the characters like Martha, Vishy, Arnold, Henry in this book with many of the people that you have worked with in your office. So when something is special, people would not mind going back to an old habit. For example, you know that this Goli Soda has made its reuse in the shelf. It was lost nearly 15 years after Pepsi came into India. Similarly, the Vespa has come with a newer look and with a higher price now, right? So even things which people had stopped doing, if it is made interesting in a newer form, I would still believe that there can be a very high level of acceptance in it. So that way, Father of Your Teams, making it to Amazon US #1, making it to PMP's one of the recommended books for gaining PDUs and many other milestones are a result of such an acceptance.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I read a book when I was doing my leadership course at NUPA. That was The Fish Tale, and I was quite impressed by that.
Oh, yes,
and
that's a
yes,
wonderful book.
Yes.
Fish
And
Tales.
then I think after that, whatever I have just gone through and I have read about your book, I think this is the second one. I'm talking about the management and leadership, So it's not easy to take this serious and the topic and make them so interesting that even the common people are interested towards that, and that is going to be helpful for them. So this 8 natural stages of leadership, how it is so unique and creative, from where you got this idea of 8 natural stages of leadership?
Okay. Dr. Haleema, there is a very interesting linkage between parenting styles and leadership styles. For some reason that I can't figure out, authors have somehow failed to notice this linkage. There is a popular parenting style called Baumrind's, Baumrind, Baumrind's parenting style. So if you were to look at that matrix of Baumrind's parenting style, you'll see that it is starkly similar to the leadership styles like democratic, laissez-faire, authoritarian. So there is a very, very great level of linkage between these two. And I follow the kind of a perspective of seeing my team members as my own children. So that was the Baumrind's parenting style was a seed. And the 8 natural stages of leadership model is a very creative and progressive and a kind of a simplified analogy of team engagement from the time a team member enters into an organization and it continues all through the life. So the distinction from other management models is one, the relationship with the leader in the 8 natural stages of leadership is perennial. Like you would connect with your father at all stages of your life, right? So like that. Number one, if these stages were segregated based on extrapolating an evolving relationship between a father and a child. So I found it to be very, very appropriate to leadership levels of engagement and the challenges the leader and the team typically face in a workplace today. So let me tell you something about these 8 stages for the interest of all the participants. The first stage is called the blind spot stage. That is kind of a parallel to a period when the child is born. When the child is born, the child is not interested in knowing who is my father, where am I, or what is my long-term, life ambitions. No, the child only requires comfort at that stage. So that is called the blind spot stage. In a similar manner, to draw a parallel, in an organization, when a new employee joins, the employee requires the comfort. There could be fear, some anxiety about the new workplace. Will I be a good cultural fit here or not? So the person requires comfort to move to the next stage. So the next stage is the reciprocation stage. It is something like a toddler will start reciprocating to the father, right? So then again, everybody will pamper the child, but the child does not consider the father to be unique. So the child slowly starts to reciprocate. So, but the trust is not completely built yet. The child only knows that the father is interested in me, right? So this also happens with the employee when they associate with the father manager over the next few weeks after they join. They slowly start reciprocating, but the trust is not completely built. And the third stage is initial realization stage, where it is equivalent to the child starting to understand. Then the entitlement stage, where the child understands that the father has a right to give what is good. So similarly, after interacting with the father manager, the new team member understands that when this manager is providing something, then it is for my larger good. So that kind of a trust relationship forms. And then comes the differentiation stage and on-demand stage. When you grow up, maybe when you go to the college or stay in a hostel, you may not have a need to take support from your father every now and then. Similarly, when the team member moves on to another unit or grows in his function, the mentoring is not required as much. So that is the on-demand stage. So but they know when to reach out. And the eighth stage is the outgrow stage, where the team member outgrows the father manager because of either to do with the mentoring or the guidance of the father manager to fit the skills and strengths of the team manager to opportunities and groom them. So for the book launch of Father of Your Team, one of the chief guests was a team member who had outgrown me and is a CEO of an organization today. So one of the things about the 8 natural stages is the sequence is very easy to remember. It has got a natural flow. Anything that is easy to remember is easier to follow. And this 8 natural stages is endorsed by the global HR heads of Emphasis, Clear Trip, and Indian Society of Training and Development, and a lot other leaders have found it to be extremely practical.
So interesting. It's really very interesting. And thank you very much for sharing this. Now, Mr. Venkat, before Father of Your Team and after Father of Your Team, is there any difference in your personality?
Yes. I used to be more of a frog in the well before Father of Your Team. Only my team members, only my college friends and school friends had an idea about my perspective and skills. But after Father of Your Team, because I'm into the self-help orbit, which has got a huge number of books flooding into the market, I will also have to, improve on my network, widen my reach, and also improve my skills so that somebody considers me on par with some of the other business self-help book authors. So that way, life has changed a lot from networking with people and also taking up coaching opportunities. I write monthly newsletters, have written many blogs, and there is a feature in authorvenkat.com called Ask Freddy. So if anyone in their workplace, if they have a problem that they find it to be tough to solve, they can use that feature Ask Freddy in the bottom right corner of Author Venkat and post their problem. And I will provide responses in 72 hours. So I've been solving many workplace problems beyond my workplace itself. It gives a great deal of contentment, Dr. Haleema. So the life has changed. And I've been, I'm sure you are one of the contacts only because I wrote the book. Otherwise, I may not have found you. There is a quote in Father of Your Team itself, which is even a small piece of stone can revolve around the sun in the speed of the giant planet if it is in the right orbit. So Father of Your Team has placed me in the right orbit with wonderful, inspiring people like you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And the last question. I hope that I am not asking some challenging questions to you because you are a great author, I know, and you are the bestseller. So the last question is there any mentor for this book, or have you taken some advices or some guidance from someone, somewhere, somebody?
Yes. I'm inspired by many leaders and indebted to them. My mentor, I was very serious about writing this book in the most engaging manner, and it has to come out as a perfect output, whether it is the quality of the book cover or the fine print or the cartoons in it, or the look and feel. You would see Father of Your Team having this kind of a structure, right? So it is very easy for you to move from any stage to any stage, like a telephone directory kind of a thing. So there was a great deal of attention that I wanted to pay on the overall outcome of the book. So I took up a 6 days course from the Asian guru of authoring, Raja Singho. He is an award-winning Bengali author. He mentored me in a fashion that it makes the book more interesting. So, and even though my training was over in 2019 January, he still continues to mentor me. So that is one best part of it. So I did take a mentor from the art of writing. And Aishwarya Rai, is one of the most beautiful women, but she spends the most on cosmetics, costume designer, and everything, right? So even if your writing is engaging, it is very important to see that it is well attended to. In that manner, I had many beta readers. You will find the names of those beta readers somewhere in page 235. All these beta readers. So I had many beta readers who helped me. There was one guy who's damn good in English. I call him Moving Dictionary Mukund Gopal. And there was a HR leader, very senior HR leader, Shekhar Arora. And he had helped me with refining some of the HR jargons in this book. And one of my college friends, when we traveled from Pondicherry to Bangalore by car, I had read out the entire beta version of this book to him, and he provided me finer comments. So I've had one formal mentor and many other mentors who helped me in shaping up this book to this level of interesting the leader.
Thank you very much. And the best part is that you are acknowledging each one of them here. And you know that how the people, even the smallest help you have received from them, you are the one who is acknowledging it. Thank you very much. That's the greatness of the person. When the person acknowledges the efforts of others, and that makes him even greater. The people think that if I appreciate others, maybe the credit will go to the others and he will not be in the limelight, but that is a false illusion. The reality is that more you appreciate others, more appreciation comes to you. More you show greatness to others, more greatness will come to you. Thank you very much. Mr. Venkat, you are not only a great author, but a great human being. I appreciate your efforts. I appreciate your personality. I appreciate your attitude. And I wish you all the best for your future endeavors. And we will be eagerly waiting for your next book. And I wish that book is going to be even the greater hit than The Father of the Team. Thank you very much for being with us.
Yeah, I'm overjoyed and blessed to have your appreciation, Dr. Haleema. You've been profusely and extremely generous in appreciating every element of the book. I'm very happy to have you as my well-wisher.
Thank you.